Hey y'all, I'm Wilson. Welcome to my little shop here. It's been about 2 weeks since my last video. Kind of got busy with work and we had Mardi Gras and Valentine's Day down here. So I kind of set the little project here we was doing to the side. This is a little scrap project we've been working on. But I'm gonna leave it to the side for right now. I've got a couple of doors I gotta get built. So I figured I'd do a video while I'm doing those. These are I've got my side stiles. That's my side stiles there and there. That's my top and bottom rails. My router, I got everything set up. Got my clamps over there so we can get them built. I'm gonna try to get all this in one video. I'm gonna set y'all up here so I can get started. Alright, now I've just got these planes of size. I do not have them cut to length yet. My door is going to be 22 1/4 by 39 1/8. So my side stiles, I'm going to make 39 1/8 and make that 39 1/8 full. I'm going to write that down. 39 1/8. Alright, then I got my top and bottom rails. I got to get my length on that. Now they are 2 3/4 wide. My bit that I'm using is going to take a 1/2 inch out, so that's 2 1/4 that I'm taking off each side for this rail. So that's 4 1/2 total. My door's got to be 22 1/4. So 22 1/4, take 1, 2, 3, 4 1/2. That ends up being 17 3/4. So now we just got to get that cut. Let's write it down. And I'm gonna double check myself. And make sure. Alright, I hope y'all can hear me. I'm trying to be loud. Last video seemed to do alright, so I'm hoping this one is. Alright, I got my little arm saw here. A lot of people don't like an arm saw, but to tell you the truth, I love them. Alright, 17 3/4. Those are 39 1/8. I'm trying to keep my mind on it because in the middle of talking to y'all, I lose track. Yeah, I kind of got a cheap fence set up, but it works. Just a homemade job. Alright, that's top and bottom rails cut to length. Now we got our side stiles. They've got to be 39 1/8 full. side stiles, and we'll set them over there. Now, I don't know if you noticed or not, but when I started cutting those, I cut a little sliver off the end first. I had already cut them on the arm saw, but they've been setting to the side, so I cut a little sliver off just to make sure that there's no cracks starting and to make sure it's square. Even if I know the end's been squared off before, if the board's been sitting for a while, I always re-square the end just to make sure. Alright, now we got to get set up here. I'm going to show you my bits that I'm using. Try to be quick on this. I don't know if y'all can see. These are just Bosch bits bought from the little Home Depot or Lowe's. I can't remember which one. Now, this is going to be for shaker style. So this is just a tongue and groove bit. But I've added another slot cutter because my shaker doors I like to have an 1/8 inch at the back, 1/4 inch for the tongue, and 3/8 for the front of the door. Anyway, that's the way I put them together. Anybody wants to know about them, just send me a comment. If you got any questions, just go ahead. Put it in the comments. Alright. I get myself sidetracked trying to talk and work at the same time. But I can't hardly talk on the camera unless I'm doing something while I'm talking. I'm getting a little more comfortable with it, but I'm still a little nervous. Now, I've got the end cutter set up. I've got the end cutter set up, and I've got my little rinky-dink router table. It's about time to upgrade. I built this. I didn't have anything else. And I had some plywood I could throw together, so I built this. This router is a little awkward to line up in there. But there we go. All right, now I've got a little tool that came with the router. I've got a hole drilled here. You can put the tool and set the depth, but I don't never use it. I just reach under here. All right, that's pretty close to what I want. Where's my cord? All right, we're gonna set this thing up. I'm going to set my height. I've got a fence to use, but while I'm setting my height, I'm just going to go with this and then set the fence to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and get into it. Now, if you're doing something like that, you need to be real careful, because if you come in too much like this, it's going to catch that corner and it'll throw your whole piece around. So you got to ease into it and make sure you're at least over the bit by 50% before you start easing into it. You don't want to come too much at the start, it'll spin it around. Alright, anyway, let's see what we got. set on that. Now, I know y'all saw how I was running that. This is an open bit. If you're going to run it like that, you better damn well make sure your fingers don't slip. Alright, now we're going to set up the fence. Let me get my stuff together here. Trying to think of two things at once, what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to do. And that'll just about mess you up. Alright, now I'm going to take my test piece. This bit's got a bearing on it. I didn't even think about saying that at first. The bit's got a bearing on it. Of course, that's the reason I was able to run it without a fence. So what I'm doing is just setting my board up to where it hits that bearing, where it cut. Put my fence up to it. And this is my little rig job, of course. But it works fine. I got me a couple little clamps. I'll clamp each end. And it don't really matter. It don't matter if my fence is cocked this way or that way, as long as it's straight where it needs to be for this. And this is just a fence I threw together out of 1/2 inch. It's pre-finished half inch, so it's got a nice slick side. Alright, set my test piece there. Make sure my clamps are tight. And I am going to take this for another test piece. Like I say, this is my end cutter, so I'll be cutting the ends. This is my little push right here. So let's go ahead and I'm trying to do this fast and do it without cutting my fingers off, so let's see if we can. Alright, those are my top and bottom rails. I'm going to set them right there. I'm going to leave my fence set up because the way these bits work, once I got that depth set, it'll work with the next bit too. Okay, so I need to unplug this. Last thing you want to do is turn this sucker on with a bit that size in your hand. Alright. Yeah. Figure out where I'm at. There we go. Alright. Now, using a router, when you're taking that collet off, that router, the bit will be tight. You'll get it and it'll get that loose spot. Go a little more and it's tight again. That's pushing against the collet to pull the router bit out. So it's normal for it to have to loosen it with the wrench, and then you can finger turn it for a few turns, and then you have to put the wrench on it again. That's normal. Alright, let me set this to the side. Set in. This is for the side stiles. That's the groove. These are going to be glass doors. So I'm going to cut the groove, and then I'm going to have to route the back side out. But that's not going to be on the video. I'm going to have to let them dry before I can do that. You want to make sure you got your bits in there good and tight. I'm not trying to overly tighten it. I'm not putting everything I got into it, but you want to make sure it's good and tight. If it's not, that bit can slip on you. Alright, now let's see. Let's see if I can get this thing back up in here without too much trouble. Sometimes it'll go right in. Sometimes you have to just jiggle the hell out of it. There we go. It's just a matter of getting it aligned right. Let's get our height set on this one. Might do us. I might actually have to put that bit in there again. I've got it just the right depth in the holder. I got it just the right depth where it's not hitting the right notch to line up right. I'm pulling it out just a little bit. I've got plenty of shaft up in there. Make sure it's good and tight. got a couple of different notches on this router. You set it in that notch, and then you've got an up and down screw on it. And I had it setting to where, like there's a notch, and there's a notch. I had it sitting to where I couldn't get it any higher. And I needed just a little bit. So let's see. Now what I'm gonna do, this is what I cut my end cutter. This was my test board. I'm gonna line that bit up with this groove, or with that tongue. The bit's gonna be the groove. Alright, now I've got it lined up with that groove, or with the tongue. Let's do this. That's pretty doggone close right there. That's not as good as it's gonna get. And now we'll put our groove on here. our side styles. I've done shaker doors a couple different ways. I can do it with a table saw. I like doing it with the router bit. Seems a lot easier to me. All right, so we're done with that. We got our rails, we got our side stiles. We just need to get it put together. So I'm going to spin y'all around. We're going to go right over here. And I know I'm trying to be kind of quick, so I'm not going over just every little detail. So if you want to know anything, just shoot me a comment. All right, there we go. We're right over there. Let's take and just blow these things off real quick, blow the dust out. Alright, now I'm putting them together with if I can get them out here, I'm putting them together with 1/2 inch 18 gauge brad nails. I've worked at shops where they use staples. I've worked at shops where they use the 23 gauge little pin nails. Either one of them works pretty good. If you use anything like this or a staple, you've just got a bigger hole to putty. I've seen people that would do them and wouldn't even putty the holes, but I like to putty mine on the back side. I've seen people, they just say, oh, it's the back side, don't worry about it. I like the back side to be decent too. Alright. Now, what I got going on right here, let me move this. This is something that comes in handy a lot of times. Just a little 90-degree jig. I just got boards screwed on here 90 degrees. Make sure it's good and square. For a little do-it-yourself or something like that, this is a good thing to have. All right. So we got our side stiles. I'm building this upside down, so I'm making sure all the pieces are upside down. I got my rails. And of course I don't have a panel because this is going to be a glass door. Alright. I get a little glue on everything. This is going to be painted. So if the glue mashes out a little bit, it's okay. Except I did forget one thing while I'm sitting here trying to talk. Before I get started on that, I've got a piece of 1/4 inch here. Just a scrap board because I do not want all that glue. I don't want all that glue on my piece that I'm on my jig. Well, I'm losing track of what I'm saying left and right, ain't I? Alright. Glue on that. If you're small time like me, the little router bit set up works great. Now, make sure everything's flush. Make sure it's in there square. Then it's just a matter of clamping it up. I'm going to put a block right there that'll keep that clamp from digging in. Let's come right there so I'll be able to have room to shoot the back. When you're clamping something up, you don't have to torque that sumbitch down super tight. Just pull the cracks up. I forgot to put my board in there while I'm sitting here running my mouth. Of course, I still got to sand that, but I don't want it, still don't want it dug in like that. All you do is get it good and snug. You can watch the crack tighten up. Watch the glue coming out, and I keep me a wet rag. Keep me a wet rag so I can keep the glue wiped out. Everything's good and square. Couple of nails in the side style. Right there so it catches in that tongue. And we know we're square. So we're going to set this one to the side. That glue sticks. We're going to go ahead and wipe it off the front there. I don't want to bang this around because we got it good and square. I'll just set it straight down over there. Wipe my glue off here. All right, one more and we're done. Like I say, I got to come back and route the back out because it's glass door, but I'm going to do that after the glue dries because I don't want to do anything that's going to bang it out of square right now, because these are inset doors, and if they get out of square, it is going to screw me all up. Get some glue on that. Figure out which side I'm going to here. There we go. I'd like to say I appreciate all y'all watching. I know I've got a few people that are kind of keeping track of me. I've had some pretty good comments. So I appreciate all that. I'm just having a little fun. I work by myself, and I'm used to having people around me to talk to, so I'll mess around and do the videos and get to talk to y'all. Been thinking about trying to get more into editing the videos and all that, but I don't know, I kind of like what I'm doing right now, just talking shit and building shit. You know, I didn't even double check the size on that other one. That'd be really screwed up if I sit here and went through this whole video and got them the wrong size, wouldn't it? Alright. every time you're clamping something, try to keep your clamp straight. If you get it angled a little bit, it'll try to pull what you're clamping out of square. Like I say, don't over clamp. If you over clamp, all you're doing is squeezing all your damn glue out of there and wasting it. You squeeze all the glue out, you don't get a good bond. You need to, like I say, clamp it till you see that crack pull up tight. Make sure it's tight, and it depends on what you're doing as to how much pressure you got to put. I've done some big tops glued up that you really had to dog it down to get the cracks pulled out. But something like this, just minimal. You just watch that crack pull out and you're good. Alright, straight down into the tongue. And I just gotta let them sit until the glue dries. I know they're square because they're sitting in my square jig. Everything stays. Just make sure everything stays where it's at. All your cracks don't open up when you loosen the clamps. If they open up, you got something wrong. So that glue really tries to hold it to that board. There we go. Now when you do these, a lot of times, especially with a home rig like this, you might not get just dead perfect. But if you can catch it with a fingernail, that's not quite so bad. You can sand that to where it works, but you don't want a big fluctuation. You just want to be able to, if it catches your fingernail, you really want to be able to go across it nice and smooth, but if it just catches your fingernail, you're good. Sand it out, you're good to go. Alright, now that's that. Where'd I put my tape measure? I set it all the way over here. Tape measures and pencils, always losing them. Alright, I gotta have 22 and a quarter, and I am 22 and a quarter full, which is what I wanted because I can trim it. Like I say, it's an inset, so I want to make sure it fits. Alright, I've got 39 and an eighth full, so that's what I needed. There we go. Let me set this over to the side. Let them sit there and dry. And if y'all made it this far, I sure appreciate y'all watching. Clean this glue off because I can reuse this board here. And that's it. Like I say, it's been a couple weeks since I did my last video, so I'm gonna try to double up. I'm gonna set this video. I'm not gonna upload it yet. I'm gonna try to later on tonight get to that other cabinet, do a video on it, and try to keep them going. Try to speed them up and get them going. All right, y'all. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time.